Thank you very much for that introduction. Today, like all of you, I'm seriously looking forward to wonderful deliberations from experts all over. And firstly, good afternoon to my Asian friends, and very good morning to all the Europeans, and a warm good evening to the Far East and Australasians, and few friends from US. It's midnight. Very good morning. Uh, and thanks for all your time to stay logged in for this wonderful session today. Well, greetings to you all, my fellow panelists, the lady and the gentleman. Firstly, my sincere gratitude to all of you for accepting to be on this board for this prestigious session. We really value your time and inputs on a very high note. Of course, your time and energy, the great insights will be at large beneficial to the industry as well. Well, you're all veterans, experts, and successful leaders in respective fields, and you command great respect. Kudos to all of you, 6 people, to join me in this wonderful discussion. As we already always keep saying, our mission statement of World Packaging Organization, better quality of life through better packaging for more people. Gentlemen and ladies, criticism efforts apart, if you really have a holistic thinking the packaging about packaging, you will agree that packaging helped a lot to mankind in every walk of life, right from preserving food and beverages to contain the life-saving products as well. Of course, the industry has reached a level of almost $1 trillion business today. Nobody can believe that. Well, packaging industry has been driven by innovation all along since early days, centuries ago when the glass bottle was invented and followed by a tin can 140 years ago. We saw the packaging evolution in various formats later on. Of course, the folding cartons, gable cartons, name anything, frozen food packaging or Tetra Pak, followed by aluminum cans, PET bottles, retort pouches. And today, we are looking for 100% plant-oriented bottles, edible packaging, whatnot, everything. Let's go to the very theme of today's important session. Of course, as Himanshu told, the 3S of packaging, 3S's of packaging. When you define in 3S's, safe, smart, and sustainable. Of course, so we deliberate on the packaging design, the creativity, how the creativity can be translated to the results, how the safety matters, how what is safe packaging, how you can have a brand differentiation by leveraging packaging evolutions, all this, and how it is important for environment also, and how it will be for the packaging will be in the new normal, next normal, or what we all deliberated. Not wasting much of time, we'll go to all my learned panelists one by one. First, I go with Gagan Deep. She has a vast knowledge as deep as Gagan, that is sky, as the name stands for. Of course, Gagan has a master's degree in pharmaceutical sciences, one of the veteran, as I told, in the industry, with almost 35 years of experience in pharma and FMCG space, with a strong track record of driving really path-breaking innovation. Several of them I witnessed personally in the 90s, way back in the 90s, when he was in livers, Unilevers, and in the whole packaging landscape. Of course, he did several assignments in pharmaceutical companies also, like Ranbaxy and Unilever. He was the director for South Asia packaging development, also global procurement director for packaging feedstocks and packaging. And he was there in Singapore and Dubai assignments also. So he had a sufficient international exposure also. And currently, he's driving global packaging development and sustainability strategy for the very famous Himalaya Drug Company, heading the packaging development and R&D, especially for the pharma, personal care, home care, wellness, functional foods, baby care, mother care. So many in the pipeline. So I'm looking for Gagan to elaborate his views on the theme today, being the open speaker. Over to you, Gagan. Next 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chakravarti. It's always a pleasure to interact with you. And of course, I can see such a esteemed panel today, and it's really an honor to be a part of this panel discussion. And thanks for your kind words. I don't think I deserve so much, but having said that, I'll try to give a little bit of an overview of what this whole theme stands for, and what is it that we in packaging world should look for to drive this entire strategy of 3S, yeah, which is smart, safe, and sustainable packaging. So, consumers actually has to be at the heart of whatever we do. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all professionals who are serving the consumers. Yeah. And therefore, whatever we do has to start and end with the consumer. And the consumer today is looking for purpose driven and trusted brands, which not only talk the right things, but also communicate the right values. And they need to just connect very well with their value systems of the consumers and the beliefs of the consumers. So the fundamentals of design for packaging for me are, to make sure that whenever we design any pack, we need to ensure that it very strongly communicates what the product really stands for. What is the proposition of the product? In fact, packaging should speak the language of the product. By just looking at the pack, a person should be able to know exactly what this product stands for, what is the kind of value system it possesses, and what is that the brand stands for. And therefore, every element of our design has to, communicate a very strong feeling of the pack of the product itself. And therefore, there are a few fundamentals that we need to keep in mind whenever we are doing this great service to humanity. One is to make sure that it meets all the environmental credentials. We need to make sure that it actually, has a very strong association with how it's going to be handled post use. Second, of course, we have to be very clear as to how we are able to communicate exactly the product values, what are the kind of USP that the product has. And third, it has to be able to have a much stronger engagement with the consumers. It should be aged, and that is where this whole concept of smart packaging comes into picture. Now pack has to do much more than what we have always anticipated in the past. And when we talk of smart packaging, it should not only talk about the authenticity of the product. It can also have a much stronger engagement with the consumers. It can give much more information about the life cycle and how the product has been manufactured. And it can also give a very strong information related to how it has been stored and how it has gone through the whole supply chain cycle. So the whole concept of smart packaging is now coming at the fore of whatever we do. We need to make sure that we need to be able to authenticate the product. We need to be able to have much better information about the product, and also about the storage conditions and the life cycle it has gone through. And that is where I think a lot of evolution we will see in the next few years, where consumers are going to be really looking at ways to be able to understand exactly how the product has been manufactured, but also how the entire journey of right from manufacturing to delivery has happened. With this whole pandemic now, this whole question of storage and maintaining those conditions which are necessary to give the right product at the end has become so important. And this will increasingly become a trend, not only for the pharmaceutical products, but also for food products, for example. And therefore, I see a lot of value in terms of looking at solutions where consumers get a very first-hand information about the entire journey and the entire cycle it has gone through. So this is where I see a lot of things going to change. But more importantly, I think another point that I would like to bring here is that the companies now need to think of the entire value chain. When we look at value chain, it's not about the value chain only about up to making of a product, but how it's going to meet its end of the life cycle goals. And therefore, right from design to actually taking it through the whole process of manufacturing, we need to challenge every aspect of the packaging design, packaging material, and also what is going to happen post use. And it has to be an integral part of the marketing strategy. We need to ensure that we have the right principles when it comes to design, manufacturing, and disposal. And organizations also need to play a bigger role in educating the consumers and educating the people who are involved in the entire value chain, including the people involved in the disposal chain. And the other area where I think brands need to play a bigger role is to see how we can come up with solutions which can fundamentally change the equation from an environmental perspective. So, we need to look at solutions where automatically the packaging usage comes down. We need to make sure that there are refillable solutions available through sustainable packaging or refill stations. And, people look at ideas to make concentrated products where you don't need to necessarily transport all the liquid that is required. So there is a lot of thinking that needs to go on the business model itself. And organizations need to really look at what are the most effective ways of really delivering the product with the minimum impact to the environment. It requires a lot of thinking in terms of the design of the products, but also in terms of how we create a business model that is most suitable to deliver the solutions that you're looking at. So these are, to me, the fundamental issues that we need to take care, when we go into the future. Yeah.
Absolutely, Gagan. Thank you so much. That could be a better beginning for such a great session. You said it. In fact, the packaging must be looked into a holistic way in every walk of life, every industry. In fact, I was suggesting in every company they must do an internal audit of packaging. Currently, what packaging they are doing, how the optimization is possible or not. In all the 3 years backdrop, how this existing packaging can be visualized and studied, and then what the betterments can be done. I think you said it, and you set the ball rolling very much. Next comes Angar. I'm very pleased to introduce Mr. Radha Mohan Gupta, very well-known veteran in this field. Not only is a great packaging technologist, I think he is very, very, very well renowned in the supply chain landscape in the Asian markets. An REC mechanical engineer with a master's in business management from SP Jain University. RMG, popularly known, Radha Mohan Gupta, has been an authority in the supply chain landscape. Of course, he has a track record of designing and managing supply chains across FMCG and consumer durable sectors. He has held several positions, believe you me, the kind of companies he has worked for, Lasan, Tableau, BPL, Castrol, PepsiCo, whatnot, all the major industries he has worked. And currently, he's the regional procurement director, South Asia at RB, that's Rakits and Venkat. Thank you once again, Radhaji, for joining us for this occasion. Over to you for you to throw some light on safe and smart packaging initially, and we will talk about new normal and sustainability in the second question answer round. Over to you, Radha.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chakravarti, for inviting me, and thanks for all the eminent panel members who are with me today here. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the people basis their time zones. Gagan has already talked about. I think he knows in and out of packaging, and he has been the guru in this field. We have been interacting. However, today's topic, the 3S for packaging. I feel that it started with 3 P's of packaging. Now it becomes 3S of packaging, and I'm sure soon it is going to be all alphabets of packaging, because this is something which is which is becoming now, packaging is becoming almost a marketing strategy. Whenever you launch a product, you'll find that it starts with the packaging. If you look at it, of course, we can talk about functionality. We can talk about that it need to keep the product safe, in transportation, etc. It need to attract customers. It need to promote the product, and then of course it facilitates the purchase, that how to use the product, what are the ingredients, etc., etc. However, you'll find that in today's world, it is differentiating the product as well. If you ask me, it is becoming an integral marketing strategy to glamorize a product in order to attract the consumer's attention nowadays. It's first moment of truth. Before even you interact with the product, you interact with the packaging of the product. And that's how it becomes important. If you go to any of the mall, right, you'll find that there are many brands staring at you for the similar category of the products. And you start comparing. And what comes into your mind and what attracts you, first of all, is the packaging design. So a retail package is the last and best chance to make a sale for a company. So whatever you talk about company, I think it will be least talked when we talk about why packaging is important. All of us know by now why packaging is so important. However, let me touch base on something else, that why we are discussing packaging so much, what is changing, and how packaging is supporting it. Now, let me go back to markets. If you see in today's market, they are changing completely. We had a traditional sales system where the product will move from, and it'll be the brick mortar stores kind of thing. Now the markets are changing. We have seen that modern trade, which we used to wonder how we will sell our product into modern trade, how the consumer will come into this one. There is a cost impact. Now you see the modern trade, which was almost 2-3% in any FMCG company, it has gone to almost 20+%, even much higher for some of the companies. We have seen e-commerce coming up, and some of the things which I think is the less of brand loyalty. You will find that the brand loyalty is coming down day by day. Rural markets are coming up, and of course there is a fierce competition. One of the things which you'll notice in the market is also diminishing product differentiation. The product is it's a category, whatever you call a toothpaste is a toothpaste is a toothpaste. Of course, everybody is trying hard to differentiate it. However, that's where also packaging is helping you out. So markets are changing thoroughly. And why markets are changing? Because as Gagan just now mentioned, that everything starts from consumer. Consumers are changing, and that's how markets are showing the drastic changes. The consumers are preferring now on-the-go kind of packaging, the convenience, and as I mentioned, the brand loyalty is coming down. They are becoming more experimental. They want to try new things, and they switch from one to another. And that's where you will find that because consumer behavior is changing, the markets are changing, and of course, the packaging market or the market as a whole has been very margin or the cost conscious, and margins are getting compressed. We also find that the digitization is coming up in a big way, Internet of Things, and we have seen into this pandemic time how e-commerce has gone multiple times higher and how people got used to. Even it was inconvenient for some of the people, but how soon they got used to the e-commerce, which is coming and coming. Also, I would like to touch base on that more and more consumers are now paying attention to packaging materials, carbon footprint, reusability, and recyclability. I feel that in the future, as we go further, the consumers will certainly give a preference. They have already started giving, but they will start giving preference to the material, to the packaging material, which is recyclable and which can be reused kind of thing. I would summarize by saying that while these changes are happening and packaging is also keeping pace with it, tomorrow's packaging has to be smart, personalized, and reusable. Going forward, there is need to be much closer partnership with brand owners, with retailers, with upstream recyclers, and even downstream, which is the e-retailers or the e-commerce kind of thing, to think through that how is packaging going to work in value chain, and how do you develop this to solve a pain point to keep company competitive price wise as well as ahead of competition. I would like to end over here, Mr. Chakravarti. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Radha Mohan, for the great insights. You said it very well. In fact, any industry, if you take, the customer is the fulcrum, customer is the center of attraction, and the loyalties are changing very very frequently. Gone are those days people are stuck to one brand, and as long and customers have become very clever as well. And it's not only the FMCG, food, and other industries like in pharmaceuticals as well, the OTC and other drugs. Everything is patient oriented, customer oriented. The demands are high. We must be the packaging stakeholders, solution providers. All the business stakeholders have to be vigilant, and they need to meet the demands of the whatever millennials or whatsoever in the current scenario. Unless until people look into that, the survival also will be difficult in the changing, rapidly changing environment. You said it very well. In fact, designing of the packaging has to be kept all these parameters in mind, and then only one can survive in the current rapidly changing markets. Thank you for that, Mr. Radha, once again. And now I'm going to an interesting gentleman, having learned from the two veterans, the pillars of the Indian packaging industry, one of the top 10 pillars of these two gentlemen. It was a privilege to listen to them, both of them. Now I switch over to an interesting personality, Mr. Umesh Anand. I'm also very, very keen to listen to him, what he's offering to us today. He is a man of multi talents, I must say. He was having a banking experience, a senior position in diversified fields, and in fact, he is a founder of a well-known architecture firm, Andy Homes. Umesh currently is the managing director of HPL Additives Limited. I think in the conference today, people might have had to listen to him. A wonderful presentation for his on his behalf of the company. HPL, of course, is a well-established player in polymer additives and specialty chemicals with a whopping 75% market share in India, and also they are exporting to over 50 countries. But today, I'm not really looking to listen to what HPL does because I already mentioned it, and we wanted an insight of the third-person perspective, Mr. Umesh. We are looking forward. Over to you.
Well, greetings to everyone across time zones. I guess we have people joining in from different time zones, and also hello to all the other fellow panelists. Not being from the industry of packaging per se, I have my own little analysis of the entire development of packaging. Packaging, like any industry, whether it's automobiles or construction or chemicals or plastic, has been through a metamorphosis, has been through a process of evolution, where it was basically simply used to cover a package or cover a product to keep it protected between the place it was manufactured till the time it reached its final destination for consumption or use. So packaging started off as just a very basic element of keeping your product protected. Today, packaging has evolved, and the process of evolution, like all my other learned colleagues on the panel have clearly pointed out, the process of evolution of packaging is, in my opinion, driven by four fundamentals. One is the change in lifestyles. Okay, the change in lifestyles brings about a significant change in the way packaging has evolved. Okay, whether it's gone to e-commerce, whether it's gone to disposable requirements, whether it's got to do with eating habits, whether it's got to do with traveling habits and hobbies and so on and so forth. Lifestyles have been a great impact, had a great impact on packaging. The second thing that has had a significant impact on packaging, in my opinion, is the environment. Okay. When I say environment, I say it in a more basic uh, way. I'm talking about climatic conditions. I'm talking the environment and nature that brings about, that requires a certain sense of preservation and a certain sense of shielding the product from external factors that could adversely impact the product and its longevity. The third thing is regulation. Okay. And regulation comes about, and it's a big driving force in packaging and selection of packaging, because you suddenly, regulation could define how products are packaged, and whether a certain kind of plastic can be used for a certain packaging, and so on and so forth, food gradability, transportability, and so on and so forth. And the fundamentals of what brought about this change initially was actually the supply chain management. So, if you looked at beverages, beverages used to be sold in glass bottles. Manufacturing glass bottles is infinitely more expensive than manufacturing plastic. Transporting glass bottles from point A to point B, the same number, in the same size of a truck, you can probably get 3 times the quantity of plastic bottles than you can get glass bottles, with the same per kilometer fuel efficiency on transportation. Then the collection of glass bottles and bringing them back in, and refilling the glass bottles and sending them back, that in itself added tremendous cost to the entire supply chain. So packaging, by and large, has now evolved and is continuing to evolve. And there will be further evolution in the area of packaging. And those, in my opinion, will be driven by these four factors. And they will continue to be driven by these factors, namely your lifestyle, your environmental impact factors, your regulation, and your supply chain, your cost element. Uh, Packaging will continue to be a great influencer. It's no, at the point of purchase, at the point of sale, uh, packaging is a tremendous influencer. And like Gagan rightly pointed out, it reflects the value system, the entire ethos in that little plastic bag, in that little cardboard carton, in that whatever the packaging may be, is a complete reflection of the product. Okay, its value system, its quality, what the product has to offer, how it needs to be consumed, the safety data, and so on and so forth. So packaging, the evolution of packaging went through a little bit of a crude metamorphosis, where people use packaging to confuse people, okay, or to mislead people. All right. But today, I think that process has now evolved to a very high level of sophistication, where packaging is a true reflection of a sum total of what the entire product offering is. So I think, yeah, packaging going forward is going to be a huge industry, and in my opinion, needs to be made sustainable. Okay, sustainability is how we are going to opt for what are the options in packaging. What are the options to either make them recyclable, reusable, compostable, biodegradable, oxo-biodegradable, whatever solutions that the industry decides to choose and opt for. I think what is important is the ownership and accountability for that sustainability. Okay, I think we have to be responsible. Okay, we have seen over this pandemic, and this has been a tremendous eye opener, especially for someone like me who's a big wildlife enthusiast and goes to the jungle at the drop of a hat. I have seen the planet heal. Okay, I've seen the planet heal when the world shut down, when the globe shut down. Okay, and we should learn our lessons from this, in my opinion. And I think packaging is something that is so crucial, because it is the selection of packaging and its sustainability that gives the industry of plastics either a good or a bad name.
Well said, Umesh. Thank you very much for the great insights. All of us agree packaging is just more than packaging today in a single sentence. Of course, the evolution of packaging on all the four landscapes, how it is evolving. You gave a very good detailed explanation, and thank you very much for that, Umesh. In fact, you not only brought a customer perspective in both ends you gave from the packaging stakeholder, also in the customer point of view. In both the ways you touched upon really great insights. So thank you very much. We'll come back to you later on for the other points. Now that leaves me to go to the next important panelist. In fact, one of the persons I most admire for the past couple of decades, known to me, uh, for the kind of knowledge she has in that landscape, Ms. Tripti Nakre. In fact, she has a master's in regulatory affairs and also clinical research, apart from basic degree and other packaging qualifications. Tripti brings in 32 years of experience. She doesn't look so. That included a long stint at Lupin Laboratories and then also Inducor MIDs. Currently, she is Senior General Manager, Regulatory Affairs, and also Packaging Development at FTC Limited. She is the driving force for a lot of regulatory aspects and packaging and labeling. She not only does the service to her company, but several times when we asked her to come and participate in the ministry objectives where I was a part of it, she was very generous, coming down and sharing her knowledge. Even today, like all of you, she also made sure that despite the busy schedule, she came forward to share her knowledge, especially on the current scenario, basically on the regulatory landscape, your insights on packaging and labeling in today's scenario. Tripti, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chakravarti, for that introduction. Hello, all the viewers, and hello to all the panelists. It's been an interesting afternoon listening to all of you. So I'll be touching upon the regulatory environment and the impact on the labeling. So since I belong to the pharma industry and also you could say part of the food industry, this COVID situation has brought about drastic changes in the regulatory environment. Basically, the pharma industry underwent a complete digital transformation. Things we never imagined we could do, we had to do because we were forced to work from home. So the entire industry underwent this whole digital transformation change. Safety has always been a big aspect for the pharma and the food, as all of us know, but it just underwent a complete change, and there were extreme requirements of safety in terms of cleaning and sanitization and all of this because of the COVID situation, which we all know. And the COVID brought about a time where the pharma industry had to manufacture. We were the essential services. Foods had to manufacture because they had to reach out to people. So both of these industries did see a boom, and they had to keep their plants running. So the regulatory environments were also aware, and they were watching what is happening. Guidelines started floating out somewhere in the month of June from most of the regulators. And we saw some changes even in the regulator stance, like we saw the emergency use authorization of a lot of medicines, because many of the medicines which were introduced, like favipiravir, remdesivir, were not clinically proven by then, but this was like a phase 4 trial, so they were allowed emergency use, looking into the advantages of the medicines. So the regulators also did relax on a lot of fronts. There were relaxations given by many regulators on the labeling, because normally there are fixed timelines for us to submit labeling. So these were kind of relaxed. From 6 months, it went to 9 months, or some cases where mock-ups were essential, we were allowed, there was a waiver given, and we could just submit, a word files and stuff like that. So the COVID really made a big difference to the pharma industry also. Now vaccines are in the foray, so everybody is in the packaging industry for the vaccines is, under scanner. the dry ice packs, the thermocol shippers, the freezers, the cold chain transportation, all of this is the happening scene right now. Even the government of India is working big time to, get the vaccines, procure them, store them. So yeah, so regulatory environment has seen a lot of changes, but at the same time, we have also received guidelines on risk assessment during this whole process. So we are not at the mercy of, doing away with any of the GMP norms or any of the regulations that we are supposed to. So all manufacturers have been advised to make risk assessment documents of running of their plants, identifying every single aspect of how we are avoiding the risk of the COVID, be it the personnel, be it the equipment, be it the visitors, the customers. So we've had to put a lot of procedures in place to overcome this whole situation. And when this COVID started, initially it was thought to be a very contact-based kind of disease. So that point of time, sanitizing everything that came into our plants, whether it was raw materials, packaging materials, equipments. So we had these procedures where you just let them stand for 48 hours. So there was this quarantine kind of concept, and then the sanitizing, and only then it was taken for use. So all of this led to a lot of changes in our procedures. We had to make COVID guidelines, issue them across all plants. So this this COVID situation brought in a lot of changes in the regulatory atmosphere. Coming to the packaging aspect of it, a very basic concept, people had to be packaged. We had the personal protective equipment that came in for people who had to face the COVID scenario. So that's where the packaging actually started. People had to be packaged to really face this COVID. So that was a big challenge. We did not have sufficient number of masks and protective gear. So that industry went into a complete they really geared up for facing this whole challenge. So that was one thing. What changed in packaging scenario was again the e-commerce, as some of my co-panelists have also already mentioned. E-commerce really saw a boom because people couldn't move. They were all confined to their homes. So I'm sure Amazons and Flipkarts and all of these have really made a lot of money because everybody reached out to them for anything and everything that they required. Even the medicines, now normally e-pharmacies are really not considered from the regulatory point of view, not something that is allowed, or it's not in the books as of now. But that saw a big boom because people couldn't go out of their homes. So e-pharmacies really did very well in this period. Now, when we talk of sustainable packaging, earlier our concepts were that we were trying to, avoid plastics and things like that, which are going to really affect the environment. But unfortunately, in this period of COVID, if you ask me, plastics really saw a boom again because everybody wanted everything to be well protected, which could be sanitized. And what better than plastics? So everything, all items, whether it was food, whether it was, you just name it, it all started coming in plastic wraps or things like that, which could be sanitized easily. So that went in a different direction in this COVID period. Then single-use plastics again came into importance because people from the sanitary aspects preferred single-use because just use it and throw it. They didn't want multiple things where they're going to be touched or they're going to be handled. So some of the concepts which we thought would kind of move away over a period of time again came back into the scenario. So similarly, even the Food and Safety Standards Authority of India, which has always been very active, they've also issued a lot of guidelines. Recently, in fact, in November, they've issued some guidelines with a lot of indications and symbols and markings for the food industry. So though the labeling did not undergo any major changes because of this current scenario, and the regulations and the Drugs and Cosmetics Act are very specific on what needs to be labeled on the packs, what did change was, for example, most of the clients now have quick response codes on their packs, on their packaging, through which they communicate with the customers, because that's a nice way to communicate with customers. So on the background, on the link, they could make changes. So all the vitamin manufacturers, vitamin D, C, D3, B complex, zinc, all these customers who sell all of these medicines, azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, all these people could go on their links and start saying that, you can use this medicine for the current COVID situation, because you're not otherwise allowed to really advertise about it. But it could be part of the promotional literature, which was put onto the links, which the QR code was leading to. So this way, the pharma industry again tried to communicate with the customers and reach out to them.
Thanks for that
So,
hints.
yeah.
I'll have to come back to you again.
That's it from my side. Yeah, thank you.
I'll have to come back to you again on the SUP and other areas which are very critical, needs a lot of discussion. We have been discussing in several forums also on the single-use plastic, etc. But we can't agree anymore. Labeling and the importance of the labeling and packaging. In fact, labeling is like you say, face is the index of mind. Labeling is really projects the product and explains the product. It's not only the regulatory requirement, but also it's a customer requirement as well. And we know actually how much struggle the regulators are undergoing at this pandemic status, be it FDA or Indian FDA. We are in contact with all the people by virtue of our connection with the Pharmaceutical Council of India. And, in fact, they are under severe stress.
Absolutely.
On one side, they need to accelerate the approvals.
Yeah.
On the other side, the validation protocols, etc. Everything needs to be followed. We are already seeing what is happening in vaccines development and vaccines delivery. Well, I think there is no 99.9% compliance here, unlike other products, especially the pharmaceutical and food. It has to be 100% on dot, complying to the regulations and requirements. I can't agree anymore, Tripti. And you always give great insights on this. Once again, thank you very much. And that leaves me to go to the next important panelist. He's from the operations per se, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Sharma. He's a passionate in dairy, food, beverage, and of course, like all of us, he's also having almost three decades of experience that include various overseas assignments. Interestingly, he worked in Saudi, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, interestingly New Zealand also. He has seen most of the world during his experience. Several senior positions in Almarai, Kuwait Dairy, Rich Industries, Unicall, Parle Agro in India, and currently now he is heading operations of the famous, one of the most famous companies in India who brought the milk revolution under Dr. Korean, Amul GCMMF. Rakesh is head operations for Punjab and North India. He's an engineer, dairy technology graduate, also several postgraduate accomplishments from national and international universities. Rakesh will throw his insight to today food and beverage industry, linking how he links that the 3 S what we are talking about in today's scenario, and what is their significance in food and beverage industry. Over to you, Rakesh. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's doing. He's still in mode. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chakravarti. It's always be pleasure to be with you. Hello to everybody, all the panel members, all the entire ET team and the audience. Hello to everybody. Today, I'll be speaking on the importance of the packaging in the food and beverage industry. Over the last more than 3 decades, I'm into this industry and saw a lot of changes happening in this industry, as well as in the products, as well as in the packaging. So first of all, the basic things for the packaging is in the food industry is to maintain the quality, because if the right packaging is there, it maintains the quality, it extends the shelf life of the product, it helps in delivering the product from one place to another place, and unless it is consumed. So it helps in all those areas. But there is always a myth that the packaging is a waste, because generally we bring the product from the market, we unwrap it, and we throw the packaging waste in the dustbin. So there is always a myth that why we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy on the packaging. But that's not true, because of the above mentioned reasons which I mentioned. Also, the food has to be protected, starting from the beginning of the harvesting till it is consumed by the consumers. So that's why the packaging plays a major role in protecting our products. So today's concept, the topic of 3S, smart, safe, and sustainable packaging. I would touch a little bit on that. The smart packaging means a right pack for the right product for the right customer. I'll share one of the small example. When I was in Kuwait, we launched PET bottles, and earlier we were doing the carton packs. But when we launched the PET bottles, it doesn't go much in the market because it was a new pack, and our product was mainly consumed by the local Kuwaitis, and they were taking our product in the carton pack since last 30, 25 years. So, but because of the competition, we started launching PET bottles. But then we did a survey to our home delivery channel. It's around 1,500 homes we were supplying. And we found from the survey that the PET bottles, the freshness in the milk after second day is missing. So I mean, there is always a perception of the customer we need to check. So then we continue the pack, but although we reduce the volume and we increase the volume of the carton packs. So that's why the right packaging for the right market or for the right customers is very much important. Second is the safe. Can feed growing population, because everybody is aware that the population is increasing one side because of this pandemic. The hunger rate is increasing every day. Most of the people, they lost jobs, so the incomes are under stress. So we need to produce more, but at the same time we are wasting a lot on the food. For example, from the supply chain, starting from harvesting till it consumes, the 1/3 of the food is being wasted. There are many reasons for that. So just to and during this pandemic, so the hunger rate is increasing. So that means we need more food to supply to the mouths. So the smart packaging can help, or the safe packaging can help in reducing the waste and in protecting the shelf life of the product or improving the shelf life of the product. So there's another myth that we cannot survive. I mean, the more packaging means more waste of the natural resources. Because, for example, the air, water, we are using more. That means we are depleting more natural resources. And to produce more food, definitely we need more natural resources. But that is also a myth, because when we produce more packaging for more giving more food to the stomachs, that means we are going to reduce the waste with innovative packaging or with sustainable packaging. So that's why there's a concept coming, sustainable. And if you remember, we were getting the milk into the glass bottles a couple of years back, and then it comes to the pouches, which is very easy for the customer, user friendly. And then now there's an issue on the plastic. So one side, we were using the bottles, and then that time we were not worried about the cost, but because people were motivated financially to keep the bottles, recycle it, and bring it next day. But pouches, because of the convenience, it becomes very famous. But there's another reason for the pouches, because it's cheap, as other panel members has already mentioned about this. So that's why we need to see the affordability. The people who cannot afford, they need to be also considered for this. So 100% recycling for the food products is also not very good for us, because there also we are using, when we have to use the recycled product, means it has to be washed properly, and then it has to be, means ultimately we are putting pressure on the natural resources. So that's why there has to be a balance between the natural resources, between the packaging which we are going to target, and ultimately the recycling and the end use of the packaging waste. So that's important. So the single-use plastic is also, for example, as Ms. Tripti mentioned about during the pandemic, everybody was using the sanitizers or the plastic aprons and all. So plastic played a very big role. So in the end, I would say, what is required is very innovative packaging. It has to be a combination of all, the paper or the plastic or any other materials, and then it is technologically suitable or with the latest concept of IoT and blockchain and those things. So we can improve the packaging so that we can feed the hunger people. And I saw there is a innovation by one of the company in the US. They make a box without paper and with IoT based sensors, which can supply almost 1,000 shipments in a single charge, which can be that kind of a product is very good for the e-commerce, because this is getting more business nowadays. So this is what I want to say from my side.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rakesh. In fact, I must say, as a user, when you said the more packaging, it's a music to the ears of all the packaging suppliers. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
that's right. That's right.
Anyhow, like all the resources, I think packaging must not be looked into that just a waste factor, but it's a value add factor. That's a great point. I also agree the packaging has a significant influence on the whole supply chain. Mr. Radha will tell later on. Right from farm to fork, it plays a vital. Nobody can deny its role actually. Even though per se people say it's packaging like this and all. If you really have a holistic analysis and understanding of it, how packaging is influencing our lives, it has become a way of life. You cannot dissociate the importance of packaging in anyone's life, even somebody remotely living in some islands. I think even there, in the borders. The other day I was talking about what else can be a better factor. The people, the soldiers in minus degrees temperature, protecting their borders, or the astronauts. I think where they were struggling for food those days. Now, thanks to packaging, they are getting all that food they like and they require and they demand, and to the straight into their doorstep. Thanks for the packaging evolution technologies for making all these things possible. That allows me to go to the last panelist, but very, very important, a good friend for the past more than a couple of decades. He has been very vocal on packaging assignments. He was my board member as well. Hyderabad, Mr. Amrish Chaudhary. He has almost close to 2.5 decades, little younger to all of us, but yeah, he has 2.5 decades experience in food and FMCG in several multinationals. Amrish is technically a polymer engineer, and also he has a master's in finance as well. As far as his experience is concerned, he was very rich experience in strategic sourcing. That's the main landscape for him. Manufacturing operations, also packaging development, etc. In fact, he has hands-on experience in handling several commodities, capital, packaging, marketing. It's a multi-talented and multi-sector. Even what we all do not have, he is very good at managing the media, the greenfield projects, advertising, marketing promotions, in the supply chain and the media as well. I think it's a different perspective altogether. He's currently the director of strategic sourcing and operations at Mars. You must be knowing all the products like Pedigree and Mars chocolates, Bounty, Galaxy, whatnot, chocolates and foods. That's the Mars company. He's the director of strategic sourcing and operations. What he brings in today is how packaging can be helpful for the brand differentiation, how the technological evolution in the packaging can be leveraged literally to achieve the desired results. Over to you, Amrish. Thanks for your patience for waiting so long. But of course, we listen to great insights from all the other 5 gentlemen and lady. Over to you, Amrish.
Thank you, Mr. Chakravarti, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the listeners and all my fellow panel members. And thanks, Chakravarti sir, for making me feel younger. I was of the opinion that you are getting old, but yeah, so that's very good.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I want to talk about a different perspective to bring in, with respect to packaging and, the apt agenda with respect to, safe, smart, and sustainable that we have kept for our discussion today is, I think, the right thing to do. I'm touching upon the sustainability part, which is linked to a lot of our companies, consumer good companies and food companies like ours. And over the last few decades, we have been working through another three, alphabets, the three R's of packaging, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So this tells an incomplete story because unless the packaging is returned back to the recycling station or to a recycling bin or to have some ways of returning back to be recycled, it's an incomplete journey in terms of the whole cycle that we are looking forward to. And if you have look at the statistics, I'm citing a UN report, 2018. Only 9% of plastic are being recycled currently. Although big companies like ours have very ambitious recycling goals. So we have committed that by 2025, 100% of plastics would be of recycled origin, in our packaging, and so do more of the other big FMCG companies which are there. How will that happen? That's the thought, and that's the question that I want to raise here. There is a big gap and a very, very high demand for recycled origin material, and that gap will only grow wider as we grow and as companies try to move towards more and more recycled origins product. And that's what I'm trying to work on. We have to find new technologies which are rapidly scalable, which has potential of recycle and can be commercialized very, very quickly, and can be promoted by companies like us. The other angle that I wanted to bring into this discussion is on the sustainability has to be supported by responsible packaging. And when I say responsible packaging, I mean somebody needs to be able to act upon it. So as a brand owner, the brand owning companies are able to act upon it and do something about it. And as a consumer, I am also being able to do something about that. And there's a lot of thought that's been happening. And our panelist has talked about the power of the consumer and the packaging, the role that packaging plays in the whole cycle to bring that piece in. So this is a very, very critical part. And once we try to focus, as industry leaders in this, it will bring in and drive change for the next decade is what we are talking about. So to sum it all, I have my own 3Ds of packaging, so to say. So one is deal with the problem, so deal with the issue. So we definitely have a big issue of how do we, recycle. And I think as a consumer, as a retailer, as a brand, and as a packaging person, we have to have solutions. Identify this problem, then work on these solutions. And all of us has to do our parts. We have excellent examples in terms of companies, doing their part. I was just hearing, reading some examples of Marico. They have tied up with Big Bazaars, where you have this system of bringing back their bottles, and they can give you some cash benefits. Similarly, there's I think a lot of thing has been happening in the refill stage, which is also to reduce packaging. So there's more of those needs to come in terms of how to do those pieces. And the last one is that don't wait. We cannot wait anymore because a lot of journey has to be done up. I think technologically technically we have to do a lot in terms of getting into this recycled space and getting into how can we recycle and get materials out quickly, whether it is chemical recycling or mechanical recycling, and those kind of stuff. But a big journey has to be covered in the years to come. So I just wanted to give you all with those thoughts. And that's about it from my side. Over to you, Chakravarti.
Thank you very much, Amrish. In fact, you brought a new perspective. Thanks for those 3Ds also. And as you rightly said, the sustainability part on the packaging is no longer a fancy thing, and it has become a norm. And it's not just a value add. Actually, it's a more of a mandatory thing. But how we look into it, actually, that's a long topic. Learned colleagues from Radha and Gagan will be better people to talk about it. But as far as me concerned, having seen the world, almost 54 countries, what is happening over all over the world, basically, consumer is looking at something different, and you should be sincere. All the packaging manufacturers and suppliers of the product suppliers have to be sincere into their efforts, not just by say our packaging is sustainable, our product is sustainable. Consumers are very clever. Maybe they might fall into the first time, but over a period of time, they will assess the truthness, 100% truthness in it. They say just simply don't go by the slogans, labeling, etc., etc. No. But definitely, it has become a regular norm now. And it cannot be one word or one solution. When you talk about sustainability, it's not 100% recycling alone. Like Rakesh said, many cases, complete recycling polymer using for certain food and beverages is not possible. Actually. So wherever it is possible, not compromising the regulations and the parameters, the WVTR and VTR, food safety parameters, how much recycled component ingredient can be in the raw material, and then total life cycle. The loop is not the solution everywhere. Of course, we have to encourage the loop system where you can bring back your containers and then get back it. Of course, internationally, all the companies are going to it. But I'm very sure that it's not going to happen 100%. Of course, but it's a segment. We have to encourage wherever it is possible. You have to see in the holistic manner, even on the sustainability also. At World Packaging Organization, we firmly believe all the material, including plastic, I repeatedly say, has its own value and has its own significance. We cannot deter or underestimate the value of any packaging material. The only thing is we have to use it judiciously, and wherever it is possible, we have to make use of that material for the benefit of larger interest of the mankind. And once again, thank you very much for all the learned panelists for their great insights. We'll try to go for a quick round of a few questions, 2 or 3 questions in turns. And I expect my learned colleagues to be very as brief as possible, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes or something like that. And then we'll try to have a fruitful discussion. First, I go to Radha. We're talking about so much on the influence of packaging, total life cycle, supply chain, the significance of packaging throughout the supply chain gamut. In the service, the current situation as an expert and listened in this post-pandemic, what will be the new norm? What are your anticipations? Very, very briefly.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chakravarti. I think we have passed through the pandemic, and we are seeing already the new normal which is coming in. Just to give you some of the which we have talked about, e-commerce going up, people becoming online friendly, shopping, those kind of thing. That's happening very, very quickly. However, I think what we have seen is this pandemic also has taught some lessons to us, right? That's number one is, I think somebody talked about the clean environment, right? That there is much we can do on the clean environment. That's one. Number two is consumer is now understanding the importance of hygiene more and more, right? And as usually the cost pressure are going to continue. So as per me, the new normal is defined, and how packaging has to keep pace with it is number one is more sustainable packaging, as we have talked about, be it the lightweightaging or be it the alternate material kind of thing, or the material which could be recycled or reused. That's a new normal. Number two is about the hygiene, that which kind of packaging which could be developed which gives consumer more hygiene way of handling the product. And number three will be on the cost. Certainly we'll have to find out, we'll have to innovate that how do we still, in spite of doing all this, how do we ensure that the costs are kept in check to keep yourself competitive into the marketplace. If you see, as Amrish also talked about as of now, we find that when you go for achieving the sustainability objectives, somewhere your costs are going up, right? And that is the fact which we need to accept as of now. However, we need to innovate so that we develop the material or designs. Even it's not only material, but even the designs, where we come out with the lesser cost packaging designs, and that's where we'll be able to compete in the marketplace. So in nutshell, I think sustainable packaging, number two, more hygiene, and third is still keeping the cost in check will be the new normal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think these three factors will certainly drive the course of the business in the coming days. Definitely, it's a great significance. No doubt, whichever industry, whether it is CPG or FMCG, food or pharma, so it's just common for every industry. Thank you very much, Radha. We always have a great pleasure in listening to you. And I go to another veteran, Gagan. We talk about smart packaging. Gagan, your career started with pharmaceuticals and all, and how smart packaging plays a role in meeting the customer demands in the current scenario. In fact, I coined a statement, packaging will be your second physician. That's getting very popular and being a popular slogan nowadays. But true to the statement, in the pandemic situation, the people are getting remote consultations with advanced high definition video consultation, with supported by the proper diagnostics, etc. You don't need to really visit your physician and all nowadays, unless it calls for a extreme physical inspection. Under these conditions, we always predict that packaging really plays that conduit role in between the consumer and the medicine and or the food or whatsoever, and how smart packaging plays a role in this backdrop, and how the future would be.
So thanks, Mr. Chakravarti, again for putting this very important question, because smart is a very wide term and it can be interpreted in many ways. But fundamentally, if you see, and what I covered actually even my talk, basically you need to provide the assurance to the consumer that the product is meeting all its requirements, and you need to be able to provide it very authentically, and at the same time, the more information you can provide to the consumer, whether it is the patient or it is a food consumer or it is a personal care consumer, consumers really want to know today as to whether whatever they're consuming is really meeting all their requirements, both in terms of the hygiene, in terms of their efficacy, and in terms of their authenticity. So what is going to happen in smart packaging? And I think this is an area which organizations have to really discuss and understand, because in India particularly, smart packaging is still at its infancy. I would say it is still being used at a very, very low level. But having said that, I see that this pandemic has really accelerated the need for providing more information to the consumers. And you can use tools like augmented reality, where you are able to scan and read a lot of information about the product. You can also build active packaging, attributes where you are able to capture data, active data like temperature, pressure, and the journey that the product has gone through. And also, you have so many interesting tools that are coming now in terms of product authentication. And that is also important because in a world like today, I mean, you need to be dependent on the trusted brands, and you need to build that trust and authenticity. So I think areas that I see are going to be critical is one is, of course, authenticity, establishing the authenticity. Second is capturing data on the life cycle of the product. And third is giving more information to the product. And there are, of course, many tools that are being devised based on electronic printing, and also in terms of the QR codes that you can incorporate, and also other authentication devices which really help you to achieve this. But this is going to more and more become the norm going forward.
Absolutely, Gagan. I cannot agree anymore. In fact, the packaging is getting more and more smarter, like anything else in the world. In the future, it is more than packaging, just like we already mentioned it. The value addition the packaging brings in product will be enormous. And like you said, that active intelligent and smart packaging elements add a great deal to the product. In fact, be it in food and pharma, especially, of course, automobile and all, countering the counterfeit menace in several areas and applications, avoiding duplications, etc. Smart packaging is going to be the norm in the future. I go to Amrish, in fact, as a marketing expert. I know actually it's slightly difficult. In every field, it is there. We are talking about the product differentiation by way of packaging. It's a huge subject. But if something comes to your mind, which you can share with all of us, how packaging technology can be leveraged to have that product differentiation by your experience.
No, definitely, definitely, Chakravarti sir. Let me just share an example. This is an example from Europe for a Mars food product, which has recently been launched, and it has all the attributes. One from the differentiation that the packaging can bring in, and also the very important sustainability that we talked about. So Mars has actually collaborated with Amcor, and they have launched a new food product which is 100% recyclable. The packaging is 100% recyclable, yet it's microwavable packaging. So it has a differentiation and the usability, from a consumer demand point of view, because people want to microwave and heat their product, in the packaging. And then towards the environmental goals, which is basically the packaging has been designed so that it is 100% recyclable. So that's example that I've recently heard about it, and it's being test marketed in Europe now. It's a Mars food product. So I think that more of those kind of stuff. I was just reading through not examples from our side, but recyclable tubes, which typically the laminated tubes that we have. Have a big concern on being recyclable, depending on different materials that they use. But now you have 100% one resin kind of a tube, HDPE kind of tube, which can provide the barrier that is needed, yet recyclable. So enough and more examples to innovations there.
Yeah, there have been several examples. That's one of the wonderful examples. In fact, we really look into the way the technology is developing and the changes are happening in our research and development in this periphery, especially the Dow, DuPont, Sealed Air, whatnot. Many companies, why should we name some companies? Even in several indigenous companies also are constantly working to have the evolution in the packaging to really meet the future demands of the customers. Kudos to all the people who are working. And that really makes us sensible and make collaborative and cooperative efforts. One of those days, you all are supply chain heads, most of you in your careers, and never treat your vendors as just like vendors, but as business partners, constantly discussing the demands of the customers and working with the collaborative and cooperative efforts constantly to get newer solutions. And Rakesh, when we talk about GCM, it's very close to my heart. In fact, I met only once Dr. Korea, but that's a lifetime memory. way back in 90s, we were supplying some packaging materials, 93, 94, something like that, to Mehsana. And that time itself, Amul was doing the brick packs, the triplex board. And in India, only one company was doing, and with including levers. So I was also working with Nick Hammer of Walls International for the migration and all for the the ice cream brick packs. But since then, there has been a lot of evolution in the packaging. Today, how do you say, okay, because you are in Amul, we can talk about Amul, but we firmly believe being a packaging stakeholder, packaging plays a vital role in uplifting the lives of the people and bringing light to millions of people in their lives by expanding its horizon, by bringing the milk revolution. And, what is your say on that?
Definitely, packaging plays a bigger role in the food industry, and particularly the ice cream. If you see the ice cream 5 rupees pack, it is still the 5 rupees pack, although the volume goes down from 100 ml to maybe 50 ml now. But there are other packs, other revolutionary packs which catch the eyes of the customers. And even I was checking one of the site of Nestle. They introduced a new cup of ice cream. Here, the outer bottom portion is a stainless steel, so that the customer, he gets the product not melted while eating. So by the time he finishes his movie, he can eat the product from inside. It is still frozen, and outside it is the steel cup. So, and it is recyclable also. So I mean, the things are going in that direction. That even, for example, we change a lot from, for example, we were doing flavored milk in glass bottles, and now it is in the PET bottles. So earlier it was heavy bottles, now it is lighter bottles. Similarly, there are many changes in other products also. But going forward, I think we need to make a combination of the packaging material, because no material is good or bad. I think the right packaging is important. So whether it is a combination of the plastic or the paper or anything else, but ultimately, as Mr. Amrish said, sustainability is important at the end. The customer, I mean, if all stakeholders can play a better role, and we can recover the wasted material, and if we can convert that into the either the cattle feed or into the wastes, something for the earth, I think that could be a big thing for us.
Yeah, can't agree anymore, Rakesh ji. In fact, food and beverages, the way the packaging, the evolution, if you see for the past 2 decades, it's just mind-boggling, really.
That's right.
In every walk of life, dairy, food, and beverages. Although, in fact, very critical item like tender coconut water. We always used to say that it can never be packed at all because to retain the tenderness. Today, I don't say 100% of its freshness is preserved, but at least it is 90% to the reality. Thanks to the packaging evolution. In fact, and now you are able to store your milk without heating up, without refrigeration for at least 3 months to 6 months. Even the regular authentic sweets in Indian sweets have a shelf life of around 6 months. All these things have happened because of the constant innovations in the packaging technology. Definitely, it has helped a lot in our daily life.
That's right.
Safety, in fact, it's a difficult subject. Always, safety is always a difficult subject. We know very well. We all need to be. When you said during the pandemic, without all these things, you could not have survived. Definitely, I can't agree anymore with that. But in the coming days, with the viruses coming, with lots of other anticipated diseases, hygiene is playing a very huge importance in the daily lives. I think life will not be the same today, after few, at least for the next generation. So, what's your message on that?
Well, actually, for the farmer, really nothing changes. It was all, it was always there. It's got worse for us. Yeah, but what has changed is we are very happy to see that the medicines that we manufacture are now going to be delivered in a very hygienic way to the end user. Otherwise, it would always trouble us to see the amount of precautions and care we take, whether food or pharma, while manufacturing. And when the things roll out, the way they are stored in the shelves or even in the transportation, things are really not, to the tune that they need to be. So I think this COVID has brought about a lot of awareness of hygiene and sanitization and storage requirements and stuff like that. So I think coming days, India is going to really evolve on these aspects. Of course, that's again going to build some amount of cost on the industry, because if the transportation conditions are specific, which for some are already there, but for many others, there's still a leeway. So people are not bothering, or even the chemist shop. Many spaces like that, people are not adhering to the temperature requirements. So costs might go up for a lot of people, but end of the day, if we're talking of safety and efficacy of the medicines, I think it's going to be the norm, and we won't have any choices. And like some of my panelists said, that we'll have to look at cutting costs with innovative, packagings and innovative ways of manufacturing, so as to meet this demand on the other side of the supply chain, which is right now still a little gray area, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Can't agree anymore. The safety is the top priority.
Yes.
It is back of everyone's minds in the future. Everybody talks about that before buying a product. Otherwise, he's not fully assured of what he's buying.
Convinced of, yes,
You
what is
need to
buying.
create the kind of a confidence among all your customers and patients whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Until you won't be able to sell your products at all. I think that plays a very vital role. And I would like to ask my dear friend, Mr. Umesh Anand. I was so fascinated with your high definition camera, like your picture. I saw that when you go into the wild forest. Like you, I also thought when the pandemic was in peak and the lockdown was in peak overall worldwide, the CO2 emissions compared to the previous days, and also the life is suddenly become very pleasant. Air is pleasant, water is pleasant, the environment is pleasant. But slowly we are come back to the whole situation already. So many people blame packaging also to some extent, not really knowing the life cycle analysis of so much of other materials. Millions of laptops are being scrapped, and huge billions of tons of concrete and other destruction material. So much things, but these are only defensive areas for us, for packaging people. A lot has, whatever is being visible, whatever the plastics reaching into the oceans, whatever the plastics which are not going into the land, going to the recycling, but appearing in the landfills. These are the visible menace, whatsoever you call. So this is really putting us in a very bad shape. All the packaging stakeholders, of course, the proper awareness, education among ourselves is required. Education and awareness is required right at the elementary, the school level. We need to. It's not a defensive on the packaging sector, but like any other sector, it has its own drawbacks, but it has its own huge benefits as well. So people stop talking about benefits, but only the drawbacks only are getting surfaced. Unfortunately, I think all of us need to raise to the occasion and bring that kind of awareness. Persons like you, when you talk in various fora and when you interact with people and all, it's very important. I would like to ask you, in this backdrop, what will be your perspective? Being a proud packaging stakeholder, we are all proud packaging stakeholders. Let me ascertain that.
Well, I think, Mr. Chakravarti, there's a metamorphosis. Okay, the metamorphosis has been brought about forcefully. It's been brought about by nature. It's been brought about by a turn of events, which we call and refer to as a pandemic. The paradigm shift that we are seeing is here to stay. Whether it's to do with hygiene, to change in packaging, is here to stay. The new normal is something we have to accept. We shouldn't compare it with what it was in the past, because that is no longer the new normal. So whether it's work from home, that is the new normal, or whether it's change in packaging, that's a new normal. The packaging industry, I think, and this transcends all different forms of industry. Packaging is going to have to be looked at with a little more responsibility. And I think what is important is that all the stakeholders involved and it starts in the entire supply chain right from the beginning till the end. I think the ownership and accountability has to be brought about through providing an infrastructure. One can't expect manufacturers and OEMs and so on to have ownership and accountability without there being an inherent infrastructure. I think our big problem in this part of the world is the lack of infrastructure and the lack of support that is required to have a more efficient plastic supply chain, which is why plastic ends up where it ends up in our country. And so, in my opinion, I think packaging is going to get redefined because the way
Excellent. I
business is
can't
done is
agree.
going to get redefined.
Can't
E-commerce
agree.
has already redefined so much. Okay, so we're going to have to now adapt. We're going to have to adapt, and we're going to have to provide for more efficient packaging, and we're going to have to provide the necessary infrastructure, in my opinion. Otherwise, the industry on its own, with no matter how much of ownership and accountability you put on the producers, they are limited by
Yes,
virtue of infrastructure.
it should be a collective. I can't agree anymore. Thank you very much for that great insight. We have wonderful interactions and deliberations from all the great learned friends, 6 of you. In fact, we are coming to the almost end of this session. Before that, I would like to quickly ask you a rapid answer. In fact, in one sentence, strictly one sentence, all of you. And when we are talking about packaging the future, what is your Amrish?
I think I will go with what I have said earlier. Packaging must be, supported by responsible packaging. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Gaganji?
I would say, see, I strongly believe in one very important theory, which is going to become even more important going forward. Effective network with ecosystem partners. It's all about networking.
Networking, collaborative efforts. Great, great. I think that paves the way for a better life tomorrow. Radhaji? Unmute yourself. Can you unmute?
Yeah. Mr. Chakravarti, you are asking for one sentence and I'll restrict to that. And the sentence is that consumers' demand will be sky high always on packaging.
Wonderful, wonderful. People have to be alert on that. Rakesh?
Smart packaging.
Smart. Oh, you did it in one word. That's very good. Tripti?
Robotics and artificial intelligence will blaze the packaging trail.
Wonderful. Umesh already told, but still I want one more sentence from you.
I'll say wrap it right.
Wonderful. In fact, when I asked one sentence, you all replied many of you replied in one word. Now I go for the one word also. People who have one word. Is it resilience, supply, resilience, whatsoever comes to your mind in the future? What drives? I go with Radhaji.
Everything.
Gaganji?
Flexibility.
Wonderful, wonderful. Rakesh?
Empathy.
Empathy, that's a beautiful thing. Prati?
Adaptability.
Oh. Amrish?
Innovation.
Wonderful. And my dear friend, Anand?
Oxo-biodegradability.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so very much. In fact, I'm overjoyed and thrilled rather, and thanks for the opportunity given by the Economic Times platform, especially Niranjan and his team, entire team, Fiona, Anthony, and all other people for bringing me here. And in fact, I must thank all the learned colleagues. And, we all know how much difficult to get in from the busy schedule of your almost 2 hours of your time is just next to impossible. I think kudos to all of you. We are dedicating this time, and tomorrow belongs to the packaging. The packaging is inseparable in our way of life. Like Gagan told, whether it is artificial intelligence and even virtual reality, IoT things of Internet of Things. whatsoever, advanced robotics, all these things are going to play a vital role. Whatever we are seeing today is completely going to change. In fact, even the thinking, now we are all thinking about it, what should be the future and all. And in fact, we are going to witness, at least in our lifetime when we are living, the machines will think for you. You don't need to use your brain. So that is AI coming in, advanced AI coming into that. That information also through virtual reality, it comes on your doorstep. You don't need to struggle by searching or by learning. And the Internet of Things, the tools will be, they will discuss and manage themselves, the whole processes and all, if you log in all the required parameters. Things are going to change definitely, but packaging is here to stay forever as long as the mankind exists. And once again, we are very, very grateful to all of you and feel proud of being a packaging stakeholder, be it a supplier or a provider or a solution provider or educator or an academician. So whoever is connected, I think whole world is connected with the packaging. So all of us need to be proud of our industry. This $1 trillion industry, which is helping the mankind in a nutshell. And thank you very much to all the audience listening from different countries in today's scenario. And once again, thanks to the organizers and my beloved friends who took part in this panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.